Welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. As usual, let us start with the snippets. The very first one, winter session set to begin on November 25th. All simple words, there is nothing as such to learn. But if you take the word winter and if you think of sleep, some animals, they sleep during the winter season for a long period. And what is a word for that? You have to use a word hibernation. That is known as hibernation. Have you heard of this any time? There are two words you have to know, two or three words. First one, hibernation. Second one, estivation. Hibernation means a winter sleep for a long time. Summer sleep for a long time, we use the word estivation. Have you heard of these words any time? Some animals, usually we sleep for a few hours, but some animals near the polar region, temperate areas, during the winter, they sleep for a long period. That is known as hibernation, and summer sleep is known as estivation. Both the words are very important from the exam point of view. Otherwise, there is nothing to learn. Coming to the second one, India bloc releases joint poll manifesto. Whenever we talk about elections, we have to, very good. Good morning to all of you. I appreciate your response. And whenever we talk about elections, we talk about certain lexical terms. Lexical terms means related words, related to the topic. Here, manifesto. Before elections, every party releases a manifesto. What does it mean? The promises. If they win, what they do, promises, that is known as manifesto. Oasis. Pravalika, good, I appreciate. Next one, I'm not quite sure, patent monopoly. Patent, an important word. Today we talk about patent rights, we talk about intellectual property rights, we talk about copyright, we talk about piracy, all are important words. IPR, intellectual property rights, you may get as a passage. Patenting, patent, very important. Have the rights. And monopoly, mono means what? Single. Monologue, monopoly, monotonous. Monotonous word, repetitive, boring, that you have to recollect. And monopoly goes with economy. A particular company takes a lion's share, 80%, 90%, then we say monopoly. But the modern market dynamics don't allow usually. You can't expect monopoly, rare. Seeks orders against generic drug. Generic drug anyone can manufacture. If someone has a patent, you cannot manufacture. A law that enables vigilante violence. There is one important word. How do you pronounce that? Vigilante means a member of a group that has taken the law into its hands. Imagine a group of people form and they take the law into their hands. There is a member of that particular group and we call that particular person vigilante. A law that enables vigilante violence means they get the right to do something. It allows for harassment of interfaith couples. Harassment, trouble someone. Usually it goes with, though not acceptable, harassment, police harassment, a typical combination. We do have exceptions, that's a different thing. I'm sure you all know the meaning of the word harassment. Have you heard of that? Please respond. Harassment goes at the workplace. Boss may harass. Police harassment. So many combinations are possible. India sends letter of intention to the International Olympic Committee. The main headline, Americans vote in close race for presidency. The latest news says Trump is winning almost 66. The US media predicts 65 or 66% chances for Mr. Trump to become the 47th president of the US. He is leading in many constituencies. It's all about that. But all these days, we have seen many editorials, news items, and it is like neck and neck competition. Very close race. But now it is like Trump is leading in many states, many constituencies. It is about that. All the words are rather easy, nothing to learn as such. Let us go to the next snippet over here. Police registers FIR against Kumar Swamy, former Chief Minister of Karnataka. Why should you recollect tease, trouble, Vishnu? Very good. I appreciate that. I appreciate others. I appreciate your response. Keep responding. And why should you focus on FIR? Pravalika, good. It takes the indefinite article and FIR. Very good. Murli also. That you have to recollect as a smart learner. Jumbo parades to festivals must be restricted. Here we have must be restricted. It is in active voice or passive voice. We must restrict something. Active voice. Something must be restricted. Passive voice. Yes, Sri Krishna and FIR. Jumbo parades means huge parades, and also perhaps it goes with captive elephants. Jumbo in this context means elephant, and jumbo parade using elephants, captive elephants. There's one important word. What is that word? Captive. Some animal is in captive. Captive breeding also we say. You have to know captive breeding. What is the meaning of captive breeding? Imagine there's an animal in a zoo. There it breeds and gives birth to young ones. Then we use their breeding is known as captive breeding. Have you got it? We have a pic over here. Let us see what it is about. But before that, there's another snippet. Will raise houses of those who hide militants. We have got this word a few times. And you have to recollect RAGE, rage means anger. RAZE, raise means to demolish a building, bring down a building, pull down a building, and you have to recollect, demolish. Very good. Perfect. What is this pic about? Holy dip. You all know the word dip and holy dip. Indians, Hindus especially, a particular time they go to a holy river like the Ganges and they take a dip in the river. That dip is known as holy dip. You can see all these people, they have gone to have a holy dip over there. And which river is this? Let me see. Hindu devotees take a dip in the Ganges. Some students may wonder why the Ganges. There's an important rule that goes with articles. What is that rule? Before the names of rivers, we should use a definite article the. The Ganges, the Godavari, the Kaveri, the Brahmaputra. Pushkaralu, who is this Brahma? Right. Devotees, devotion, bhakti. Devotional songs, devotees, you have to relate it to religion, sacredness, holy nature. All these you have to recollect. Annual ritual. It's an annual ritual, something that is done on a regular basis. Related to religion, we use the word ritual, part of traditions and culture. SC upholds UP Madrasa Act. Excuse me. State has regulatory powers. Uphold, we have got many a time. Means support. And uphold something means what? Support something. State has regulatory powers. They have the powers. Let us go to. Here we have Wikipedia likely to be treated as a publisher. All simple words. State has no right to acquire every private property, asserts Supreme Court. Here we have two words. One is acquire, the other one is assert. Acquire knowledge means what? To get knowledge. When you read books, go to library, read books, what happens? You acquire knowledge. The word acquire goes with knowledge. It also goes with skills. Acquire soft skills, acquired knowledge. And we have the other word. What is the other word over here? Assert, an important word. Assert something means state something firmly. I always tell youngsters at the workplace you have to be assertive. Imagine the manager tells you to do something against the rules and regulations. Because you are young, he is your boss, you may hesitate to say no. But you have to be assertive. Means what? You have to say a firm no. That helps in the long run. Exactly. To say something firmly. Very good. I appreciate that. Here we have Sanjay Verma appointed as new Maharashtra Police Chief. A row over endorsement of Trinamool candidate by officials of football clubs. A row, we have got dispute, argument, fight, all these words you can think of. Over what? Endorsement. Endorse means to support publicly, and this goes with celebrities. Celebrities, what do? They conflict also you can think. Pravalika, good. Spat little stars, very good. Murli also responded, Geeta Shri responded. And celebrities, what do? They try to promote a particular product. That is known as advertise, endorsement. Better word is what? Endorsement of Trinamool candidate by officials of football clubs. Congress targeting Bengali Hindus with Bangladeshi barb. There is one word here, barb. And I don't know how many of you chances are there to see. Imagine you see something, there's a metal wire and it has something like this and it is used for fencing. Have you seen anything like that any time? A metal thing, wire kind of a thing with those, and that is known as barbed wire. What is it called? Barbed wire. Very good, Murli, I appreciate. Wonderful, barbed wire. This is known as exactly, Murli has written, barbed wire. It is used, fencing purpose, it is used. But here it is like a sting, Bangladeshi barb, like a sting. Amid friction, Canada in focus at 5-day Kolkata festival on experimental films from today. Here we have amid, we have got many a time. Amid, amidst, both mean the same, no difference, in the middle of. And what is a, good Pravalika, that's what I have just said, friction. You have to think of two words, one is a fiction, the other one is a friction. Friction is something like between two persons or two things, there's a friction. In this context, some sort of trouble and some sort of dispute. But because of the dispute, friction. What does it mean? Fiction, F-I-C-T-I-O-N. Fiction means imagination. When we tell students to read English novels, we suggest first fiction, then non-fiction. Fiction means imagination, hero, heroine, villain, all that stuff. Non-fiction based on facts and figures, society, practices, all those. BTR elephant deaths are killings by government, alleges MP Congress. It is related to death of elephants in a particular state, 50 plus I suppose. High Court issues notices to Assam government over plans to cut old trees for Gahuti flyover. When it comes to cutting down trees, there is one verb. Tell me what is that verb? Cut down trees, everyone knows, simple expression, but there is a particular verb and very important from the exam point of view. Which one is that? It is, we say, I'll write here. You all know fall, fell, fallen, but we have another verb. What is it? Fell, felled, felled. What does it mean? Fell, felled, felled. Jaya Lakshmi, very good. That is very important because in the exam they may give. Once SBI they gave a question. They fell many trees in our colony last week, but it is wrong. We have to say they felled many trees in our colony last week. Means to cut down. It goes with trees. That's all for today from the headlines. Now let us go to, or let me see what is here. Muslim Mahapanchayat called to boycott a family, poses challenge to Congress in some place. Not that important. Let us go to back to the old format, because I felt what I brought last 2 days a particular format. I myself experienced a few problems while doing the analysis. I felt the font size was not big enough, and it looked a little clumsy somewhere. So I thought better to go back to the old format. As usual, we start with a question. Based on this session, what are you going to learn? What is the enrichment? Thank you, Geeta Shri. Enrichment, comprehension skill, vocabulary, grammar consolidation, effective English, mini mocks. Today I haven't touched this and consolidation. Now let us go to the next slide. Please give me a second. As usual, first we go to the vocabulary part. This is good enough. You have to join the Telegram group. After the session, if you join the Telegram group, you go to the Telegram group of SREEDHAR'S CCE. There you get the PDF, but not now, after the session. The first one, solemn, N is silent, and part of speech adjective. What is the meaning of that? Formal and dignified. Serious and sincere in nature. It's a formal expression, and also serious and sincere in nature. That part is important. Example, the government made a solemn promise to restore statehood to the region. Means sincere promise to restore the statehood. I will talk to the technical team. Who is this? Ramdas. After the session, I will ask them to upload yesterday's and today's also. The government made a solemn promise to restore statehood to the region. And synonyms, serious, earnest, grave, formal. Here we cannot use a word like grave. Grave has two meanings. Now, I have responded. Wait, once this session is over, we will upload. I told you grave has two meanings. One meaning, graveyard. You all know that, where the dead bodies are buried or burnt. Graveyard. But grave problem means what? Serious problem. Here it looks like an odd man out. Serious, good. Earnest, formal. These two words you have to consider. Serious, grave also can be considered, but not the first choice. Antonyms, casual, light-hearted, frivolous, cheerful. The second word, dispensation, an important word. Dispensation, noun form. Part of speech, noun. Meaning exemption from a rule or usual requirement, a specific arrangement or order. It goes more with the second meaning. What is the second dimension? A specific arrangement or order. And a grave mistake, very good. Exemption from a rule or usual requirement. Look at the example. The new dispensation in power advocated for the restoration of statehood. Means a new, in a way you can say, order in power. Advocated means promoted or in favor of the restoration of statehood. Synonyms, allocation, distribution, exemption, administration. Antonyms are denial, withholding, restriction, all negative words. Abrogate, an important word. It goes with verdict, judgment, all these. Part of speech verb. To officially end or cancel something, especially a law, as I've just said, agreement or formal regulation. You cancel a formal law or amendment or regulation, that is known as abrogation, an important word. The special status of the region was abrogated in 2019 by the central government. We all know that. We are talking about revoke. You can say that also. Who is this? Pawan Kumar. Good. Synonyms, repeal, annul, rescind, abolish, All these words are very important words you have to have at your fingertips. But based on this, I would like to give two words. First one is, what is the spelling over here? ANNUL. And we have another word, ANNALS, annals. And synonym of that is chronicles. What does it mean? What do they mean? If you make a note of incidents or events based on the time factor, then we can use two words. One, annals, the other, chronicles. But if you make a note of incidents or events not based on the time factor, you have to use a word, archives. Not archives. How do you pronounce this? Archives. Archives has got two different meanings. One meaning, yes, Geetashri, archives, very good. Pavan also. One meaning, that is a modern meaning, Murli. Traditionally, archives means a public place where government records are kept. That is one meaning. Second meaning, to make a note of events or incidents but not based on the time factor. And modern English, if you take your laptop or computer, you have all the old files. And what do you do with your old files or folders? You archive them, means you store somewhere. That is another meaning. Old documents, it goes with old documents. Let us go to rankle. We have got this for the first time. Have you heard of this any time? Rankle. Part of speech verb, to cause persistent irritation or resentment. We have got this for the first time. After the session, you have to spend some time. Oh, you have heard of this? That's really good. The removal of the state special status continued to rankle many residents. Means what? They are not happy with that. They find it irritating or some sort of resentment. Synonyms, irritate, annoy, aggravate, irk. That is an important word you have to remember. Antonyms, soothe, please, comfort, pacify. All simple words. The last one here, spurt. Part of speech, noun, it can also be a verb. There is a spurt, means noun. Spurt also can be a verb. A sudden, brief increase in activity or intensity as a verb. To shoot out or increase suddenly. Sudden increase, simple. We can also use words like surge, spike. There has been a spurt in militant activities in recent months. Means the number has gone up. Resentment means angry because of unfair treatment. You are angry because you feel somewhere you have been treated unfairly. Then we use the word resentment. Surge, outburst, burst, increase. Antonyms, decline, decrease, drop, reduction. Decline is an important word. We say declining numbers, declining standards, declining quality. What does it mean? It means what? Going down. Combinations are very important. Don't stop with the part of speech meaning. You have to go beyond. Backlash, part of speech noun. A strong negative reaction, often by a large number of people, against a recent event or decision. Someone takes a decision, a new policy or something new people don't like, then we say there was a backlash, an important word. The change in status led to a significant backlash from the public. Means they're not happy with that. Reaction, repercussion, opposition. More than repercussion, we use opposition, a reaction, not happy with a particular policy. Approval, support, acceptance, simple words. The last word we have got for the first time. Rankle and Brooks we have got for the first time. Brooks means what? Part of speech verb. It means to tolerate or allow, often used in a formal or archaic sense. Archaic means very old, something that belongs to the past. The newly elected government brooks no delay means allows no delay in its demand for statehood. To tolerate or allow. Here, brooks no delay. That means they will not allow any delay. They will not tolerate any delay in its demand for statehood. Synonyms, tolerate, endure, allow, permit. refuse, reject, oppose, disallow. Those are the words. Let us go to the stimulus, the main idea, and the tone of the editorial. Today's editorial is all about Jammu and Kashmir and the special status, the promise, whether the promise has been fulfilled or not, and whether it has to fulfill or not. Solemn promise means serious, sincere, earnest promise. What is that promise? On restoring statehood for Jammu and Kashmir. The central government has made a promise, serious, sincere, solemn promise. What is that? To restore the statehood to Jammu and Kashmir. It is about that. That is a stimulus. But what is the main idea of this editorial? There can be no further delay. They should not delay further. There can be no further delay in restoring statehood for Jammu and Kashmir. And there's one important word here, further. What are you supposed to recollect? There are two words you have to recollect. What is the first one? F-A-R-T-H-E-R. What does it go with? Distance. And what is the other word you see here? F-U-R-T-H-E-R. And what does it go with? In addition to. In addition to. Further delay, already delayed, they should not further delay, means they should not extend that. Wonderful, exactly. What is the tone of the editorial? The tone of the editorial is a persuasive and assertive. Two key words, persuasive, persuade, convince someone to do something, and dissuade, opposite, discourage someone from doing something. You have to think of two words, persuade, positive in a way, dissuade, negative. And dissuade, they have given many a time in bank exams, it takes a preposition from. Dissuade someone from doing something means discourage someone. Persuade someone to do something, take up some activity. The tone of the editorial is persuasive, telling the center to fulfill the promise, and assertive. Being assertive means being firm on a particular stand. Everything is crystal clear. Let us go to how does it start and how does it, what is there to learn. The call by the Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha for restoration of statehood to the Union Territory must be seen as both a demand from the newly elected regime and a reiteration of the promise made by the centre. There are two dimensions over here. There has been a statement, the call by whom? Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor, and who is that person? Manoj Sinha. And this call is for what? For two things. One is a restoration of statehood to the Union Territory must be seen as both a demand from the newly elected regime, and this call is something like, okay, you're welcome, Sri Krishna. This call is one thing about restoration of the statehood, and it must be seen. We must see it, active voice. It must be seen, passive voice, as both. When you see the word both, you have to think of an important rule. What is that? We have one below the other. Both takes the word end, but a common error. A lot of people say both as well as. She is both a dancer as well as a singer. Wrong. She is both a dancer and a singer. This you have to recollect. They have given many a time. So how to look at it, how to see that as both a demand from the newly elected regime. Recently elections conducted, and now they have a government. Regime means incumbent government. That could be from demand from incumbent government, the present regime, elected regime, and also a reiteration of the promise made by the center. Reiterate means what? Say something many a time, strongly. I would like to reiterate something. Means what? I would like to stress. That's what you have to think of. These are the two dimensions. Being part of the LG's customary address to the assembly, when did he give that call? While addressing the assembly. Being part of the LG's customary address to the assembly, it obviously reflects a demand of the new dispensation. New dispensation here, the newly formed government, headed by whom? or which party, headed by the National Conference and is in accordance with a recent cabinet resolution. A recent cabinet resolution to restore statehood to Jammu and Kashmir. This is in line with that. At the same time, the LG also represents a president who administers all union territories, in a way related, because a lieutenant governor represents the president who administers all the union territories, in a way in line, that is also in line. At the same time, an important phrase, the lieutenant governor also represents the president who administers all union territories. There's one important word here. Imagine there's a man, his post is an officer, his job is to administer. We call that person administrator. A man, administrator, masculine gender. Tell me what is the word for administrator, what is the feminine gender? The one in 10,000 can answer, but our students can answer. What is the feminine gender of administrator? Administrator, a man, but a woman is doing that. What do we say? I'll write here. We have to say administratrix. We cannot say administrator, we have to say administratrix, Trix. Very good, Murthy. Administrator, Pravalika also, wonderful. Administrator, masculine gender, administratrix, feminine gender. One cannot forget that the Union government had given a solemn promise, again about the same thing. One cannot forget that the Union government had given a solemn promise to the Supreme Court that Jammu and Kashmir, which was downgraded, downgrade means what? Take to a lower status, was downgraded and divided into two union territories, UT, in August 2019, will get back its statehood. The centre promised, solemn promise to the Supreme Court, it would restore the statehood. And this is all about that. How come? One cannot forget that the Union government had given a solemn promise. Had given, which tense is that? Past, Vishnu, very good. Sri Krishna also. Past perfect, had given. When do we use past perfect tense? Imagine two actions happened in the past, one after the other. For the first action, we have to use past perfect. For the second action, we have to use past tense. So this happened in the past. One cannot forget that the Union government had given a solemn promise to the Supreme Court that Jammu and Kashmir, which was downgraded, this is in past passive voice. Which one is that? Past tense, passive voice, which was downgraded and divided into two union territories in August 2019, will get back its statehood. That was the promise given by the centre to the Supreme Court. Although no timeline was given, though the centre gave a promise to restore the statehood, the timeline was not mentioned. Based on that, a contrasting word. What is the contrasting word here? Although. Then some students ask me, so what is the difference between though and although? Both express a contrast, but subtle difference. What is that difference? Although usually comes at the beginning of a sentence. See here at the beginning of a sentence, and though can come at the beginning or in the middle. That is one difference. And what is the other difference? Though, although is a formal word, and though is not a formal word. Two dimensions. One, the position, the other formal, informal. Subtle difference, yes. Meaning-wise, no difference. Both express the function-wise. Both express a contrast. Although no timeline was given, again past tense passive voice, the promise holds good, an important expression. It holds good means what? It is still valid. Something holds good means what? It is still valid. The promise holds good with greater force now as assembly elections have been held. Here we have been held. Present perfect in passive voice. Have been held and a representative government installed. Now they have a government. The assurance had been given Past perfect, passive voice. Happened first one, now the present. Based on that past perfect, the assurance had been given during the course of the hearing on the validity of the presidential notifications abrogating. When was this promise given? At the time of abrogating. Abrogating what? The state's special status under Article 370, abrogation of Article 370. That time the center gave the promise to the Supreme Court that the statehood would be restored and the adoption of the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act by Parliament. It was on the basis of this assurance that the Constitution bench decided that it would not decide the question whether the state's reorganization into two union territories was permissible under the Constitution. Because of that assurance from the center, the Supreme Court did not go deep into whether the Parliament has a power or not. It decided it would not decide the question whether the state's reorganization into two union territories was permissible under the Constitution. They did not go deep into that because of the promise. The reasonably high turnout in the assembly elections had demonstrated the faith reposed by the people of Jammu and Kashmir in democratic institutions and their desire for a return to popular rule. I did one or two editorials at the time of Jammu and Kashmir elections. The turnout was very good. This talks about that. And what is the turnout? Imagine large number of people participate and they cast the votes. It shows that they want a democratic setup. They favor a democratic establishment. The reasonably high turnout in the assembly elections had demonstrated, again past perfect, the faith reposed means instilled, the faith kept somewhere, reposed by the people of Jammu and Kashmir in democratic institutions and their desire for a return to popular rule. What is popular rule? Elections and formation of the government by the elected people. While the removal of the state special status may continue to rankle, means what? Irritate, annoy, for many, few would disagree that the restoration of statehood is a matter of priority for the people. In one sentence, two ideas. What is the first one? It may irritate, annoy many people over there because removal of state special status. But few would disagree, an important expression. Few means what? Almost nothing, hardly anything. Means no one would disagree. That's what it means. Few, a few, the few. Few means what? Almost nothing, hardly anything. It has a negative connotation. A few, at least some. The few, whatever is there or something specific. Few would disagree means no one would disagree that the restoration of statehood is a matter of priority for the people. Obviously, that is a priority. The election of a new regime has strengthened democratic processes and there is really no reason or excuse for any further delay in conferring statehood. Now the state government is there and elections are over, state government is there, regime is there. Then what is the reason? Why should the center delay? It should not further delay the restoration of the statehood to Jammu and Kashmir. There is some cause for concern over the security situation. All this is one dimension. Now, the present scenario, after elections, after the formation of the government, the present scenario, a little disturbing. What is that disturbance? Here you can see that one particular sentence. There is some cause for concern over the security situation. Why? As evidenced by a spurt in militant attacks, increase in militant attacks. Both civilians and soldiers have been killed. Present perfect passive voice. Both soldiers, civilians and soldiers have been killed. And many of the victims were non-local workers in the valley. Non-local workers. The most likely explanation for the escalation. What is the meaning of escalation? You have to recollect little, a little, the little. Few goes with countable nouns, little goes with uncountable nouns. Here, escalation means going up. You all know the word escalators. The most likely explanation for the escalation is that militant groups want to create a sense of fear among non-local workers and provoke a backlash from the security forces. They have their own objectives, intentions. They want to provoke. Provoke, you have to think of words like incite, incite, instigate, provoke, all are related words, synonyms. A backlash from the security forces. However, neither any spike in terror attacks nor the fact that ruling Bharatiya Janata Party at the center could not realize its hope of being in power in Jammu and Kashmir should be seen as a possible reason to delay a positive decision on its statehood. All these factors one has to keep aside and should give Jammu and Kashmir people what they deserve based on the promise given to the Supreme Court by the center. That's what it means. Irrespective of all these things, however, neither any spike in terror attacks nor the fact that the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party at the center could not realize its hope of being in power in Jammu and Kashmir. They thought they would come to power, but they could not come. And these two things should be seen as a possible reason to delay. They should not be seen a positive decision on its statehood. They have to go ahead. Something went wrong here. Give me a second. Oh. How does the editorial end? The need for the elected regime to have its governance space expanded by the benefits of full statehood brooks no delay. Means they have to do it immediately. That's all about today's editorial, and one has to read twice or thrice to understand. Not that easy to comprehend. Let us go to questions based on this editorial. Try to answer. According to the editorial, why is there no excuse for delaying the restoration of statehood to Jammu and Kashmir? The editorial has taken a stand. What is the stand taken by the editorial? There should not be further delay. Why? What is the reason for taking that particular stand? Union government has resolved all security issues? No. A solemn promise was made by the union government and a representative government is now in place. So what is the answer? One thing promised by the center to the Supreme Court, a solemn promise. The other one, now they have a representative government. There should not be any further delay. Question number 2. What significant recent event is highlighted as evidence of the people's faith in democratic processes in Jammu and Kashmir? It goes with the turnout. Which option talks about the turnout? A Supreme Court judgment on Article 370? No. The high voter turnout in the recent assembly elections. Answer is B. Very good. Which factor does the editorial suggest should not influence the delay in granting statehood to Jammu and Kashmir? Which factor should not influence? Because of that particular factor, the center should not delay. What is that factor? The recent escalation of militant attacks seems right. The Supreme Court's assurance on reorganization legality, the need for security in the valley, the presence of non-local workers in the region. Answer is what? The recent escalation of militant attacks. They should not show that as a reason and further delay the restoration of the statehood to Jammu and Kashmir. Question number 4. Why did the Supreme Court refrain from? I always tell students, abstain, refrain. They take the preposition from. Keep away from something. Ruling on the constitutionality of Jammu and Kashmir's reorganization into union territories. That time Supreme Court did not involve, did not say anything. So it refrained from going deep into the division of Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories. Why? The union government assured the court that statehood would be eventually restored. You don't have to go beyond this. What is the answer here? Question number 4. The central government, the union government assured the court that statehood would eventually be restored. Very good. The last question based on comprehension skill. What does the editorial imply is a benefit of granting full statehood to the elected regime in Jammu and Kashmir? It will eliminate security concerns? No. It will expand governance space and empower local leadership. Decrease, you cannot use a negative one, and you cannot use. So what is the answer here? B is the answer. Governance space gets improved. 5B. Very good. Let us go to mock exam topics based questions. First, error location exam topic. Read the sentence and try to spot the error. The buzz at the party was that a famous film star and politician would probably drop by for a while. Where is the error? Very good, Pravalika, within no time. Here, the buzz means a talk, excited talk at the party was that a famous film star and politician would probable, you cannot say. What is the word you have to use? Here we have to say probably, not probable. Probably drop by for a while. Visit for a while. Very good. Adverb. We have to use the adverbial form. Question number 2. Despite the merger, the airline has reported sizable losses and is unable to pay their employees. This is not easy under pressure. Quite often they ask questions based on this particular thing. What it is, I will tell you once you answer. Tell me, where is the error? Despite the merger, the airline has reported sizable losses and is unable to pay their employees. No. Nothing wrong with despite the merger. Here we have despite the merger. Usually they give off. We cannot use off. But here it hasn't been used. What is the subject here? The subject is the airline. Based on that, has a singular verb has been used, reported sizable losses and is unable to pay not their employees. We have to say its employees. Lakshman, after despite we should not use of. That is a common error. Here the subject is airline, singular. Singular verb has singular pronoun, its, possessive pronoun. I always tell when I teach pronouns, there are two dimensions which are very important, not easy under pressure. What are those two dimensions? One, subject-pronoun agreement. The other, object-pronoun agreement. This question is based on subject-pronoun agreement. Under pressure, not easy. They have given many a time. We have recently began the process of recruiting insurance agents for our northeastern branches. We have recently began. Which tense is that? Present perfect. And any perfect tense, the main verb should always be in past participle form. Based on that, no one has responded. What is the verb here? Yes, Geeta Shri, you have got it right. Begin, began. What is the past participle form? Begun. Here we have begin, began. And what is the past participle? Begun. The problem is with the verb form. Not began, begun. Let us go to the next exam topic, a little challenging. These are double fillers. Read the sentence and choose a correct pair. As a boat, all those on board fortunately, look for the clues to understand the context, positive context, managed to reach the bank of the river with the help of lifeboats. Here something negative, and here positive context that you have to understand. We can say capsized. Boats, ships, we say capsized, means turn upside down. There is one important idiom, turn turtle. But of the river drowned, we need a positive word. Drowned means negative word. And harmlessly, but as a boat fell, we don't use that. And dropped, we don't use dropped also. Deceased goes with persons. A deceased person means a dead person. We don't use with a boat. And what is the last one? As the boat sank, all those on board fortunately managed to reach the bank of the river safely with the help of the lifeboats. Answer is the fifth option. Have you guys chosen the fifth option? Very good. Geta Shri and who else? Ramdas also. Oh, Shri Krishna. So many students already answered. Wonderful. Please go to the next one. Ashima, her team with a lot of skill and the increase in the sales by the team is a measure of her success. Entire context is positive. A positive word like success is there. Ashima dominates for negative words. Negative, negative. Condemns her team, negative. Sudden, irrelevant. Manages. Ashima manages her team with a lot of skill and a significant increase in the sales by the team is a measure of her success. Both the words are positive, both go with the context, grammatically also right. Hold that one. Directs her team, worthless, negative word. Overpowers, negative. Exceptional, increase, you can, but already we have rejected this. So what is the answer? Manages and significant increase. Wonderful. Let us go to the next one. On being asked for the passport, he, to his dismay means a shock, that he had to bring it along with him to the airport. So what do you understand from the context? When he was asked to show the passport, that time he realized he forgot the passport at home. This is the context. He shocked, you don't say. He realized, this seems right. He shocked. He was shocked would have been correct. And he had failed, we don't use in this context. On being asked for the passport, he realized to his dismay that he had forgotten. Seems right. He pleaded to his dismay. Does not make any sense. Plead means to request. Understood to his dismay and he had lost to bring does not make any sense. Recognized doesn't go with the context. So what is the answer here? When he was asked, he realized to his shock that he had forgotten. That is in past perfect. Forget, forgot, forgotten. Answer is the second option. That's all for today. I hope you guys have got enriched. I appreciate all those students who have responded. That's a very good thing. Keep always respond, be active, be proactive, and you will get benefited. No second thoughts about that. Because any new skill, any new language, vocabulary, you say many a time, whatever you know, you can consolidate your knowledge. That helps in the long run. Have a nice day, and we will upload the PDFs, yesterday's and today's after the session. Try to access. For that, you have to join the Telegram group of SREEDHAR'S CCE. Have a nice day. Thank you.